Hey church girl and guys who watch this, welcome back to the space, your space. Welcome back to the tribe members. If you're new here, my name is Zhara-Marie, and here we have clean Christian content where we facilitate and have conversations that we just don't have in church. So if you're new, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and click that little notification bell so you never miss an upload. Today we're going to be talking about a spiritual audit. Have you ever done one? Do you want to do one? If you're interested in this type of video, grab your notepad, your little notebook, your little journal, that there church girl journal, and get your notes writing, or start writing your notes or something like that, and continue watching.
I'm a God girl, that's who I be, from the top of my head to the soles of my...
The spiritual audit, you may ask. When I came up with the definition, I wasn't really looking at anything posh per se, but I really was just thinking about getting a check and balance on your life, because your spiritual life is just as important as any other area of your life, and we should take it as very important. So when you work in a firm, when you work in any office, you have independent auditors coming in to just check if you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you have some targets that you start for the beginning of the year, especially the financial year, and you need to meet them. If you're a teacher, you have lesson plan and your supervisor follows up with your lesson plan. So wherever you are, you need to do some sort of audit. Then I kind of backtrack and I say, well, if we're auditing all these other areas, then why not audit our spiritual life as well? Truth is, I don't believe that spiritual growth is linear. So I'm not more spiritual than you are, you're not more spiritual than I am. It's just that we struggle with different things at different points. However, we have to be growing spiritually, and the only way we'll know that we're improving on a part in our life that we've been struggling with is if we check it. Like, if you don't check it, you're just lying to yourself and you're going in circles. So I had to check myself, so I just said, why not share it with you? So I have 6 questions that I'm going to run through that I ask myself. And you can have different questions that you can ask yourself, or you want to use these questions, build on them. But the first thing I think we should do, and that's something I'm starting to do in my little journal and everything, you write down the goals that you have, right? So possibly you never had that structure in your brain yet, so you might have to do it for the next month or the next quarter, or however you want to do it. But everybody has something in the back of their mind that they know they're working on. If you not work on nothing, friend, well, what you doing, sis? But even if you don't have these objectives, this is what this channel is for us to grow together and for you to write down these objectives going forward. So after you've figured out those objectives, or you have kind of thought about something in your life that you had said a few weeks ago or a few months ago that you want to develop in, or you want to get better at. So the first question I ask myself is, am I content with who I am evolving into? Of course, I know you should never be comfortable in any space, because every day we have to grow closer to God, and every day we get better because we live in a sinful world. But there should be some sense of contentment with our journey, with our progress. Are you seeing progress? Are you seeing areas in your life that you are evolving in, that you can check off your box and say, okay God, you and me, we did this together? Are there areas in your life? And if not, if you're not content with who you're evolving into, it means that you need to stop and take a step back. If you're content with who you're evolving into, then you say, okay, cool, so I'm comfortable that I ticked off this and this. No, I need to now push forward, but I'm content and I'm comfortable with who I am. So let me give you a quick example, because without the example, when I did my spiritual audit the other day, I knew that I was lacking in Bible study. My process of doing Bible study was just not where it needed to be. I committed to having extra Bible study time outside of my devotion, right? I committed to that, kind of like a day with God. And then also kind of getting the Dear Church Girl Bible study going on, which is completely organized by Nicole, and that has been revolutionary to my Bible study life as a person, you get me? And then I know that other people would have benefited from the study. So now when I take the check and I say, okay Zara, are you content with who you're evolving into? And I say, yeah, I think I'm pretty content with who I'm evolving into. It means that I know that there is more to go, but when I check on the checklist, I think I'm doing a good job at this. So now I can add layers to it. And I think sometimes as Christians we try to do everything all at once, and then we tack on and tack on and tack on and tack on, and we get overwhelmed because these things aren't working out. Are you content with who you are evolving into? Am I becoming more religious than spiritual? And this is very important, because it's so easy. It's so easy to get caught up in do's and don'ts. It's so easy to get caught up in rules. It's so easy to get caught up in rituals, and you're doing them from an empty place. And I talk about this a lot because I have fallen into the pit a lot, and I continue to fall into the pit. And every time I fall into the trap of just doing things emptily and doing things for doing things' sake, I could draw back myself in and say, no, Zara, I have to get it together, because God wants all of you, and He wants a genuine version of you. He wants genuine worship. He wants genuine praise. And I remember a post I made the other day about just the fact that going to church for going to church's sake is something that I really don't like, and I do appreciate, because it's a waste of time, and then you go there for all the wrong reasons. And let me tell you, people on Jesus' internet take me on and say, oh no, people must go to church same way, and I'm telling people that they mustn't go to church, which was not the point, because I love church and I'm a church girl 100%. But the point was, and I, thankfully a few people got it, but the point was that going to church for going to church's sake, just for vibes, at some point it gets old. At some point it drains the energy, and it is good to take a spiritual check to see, what do I need right now? I might not need to go to church. I might need to stay and have Bible study with 2 friends. I might not need to fellowship with the saints today, and that should be okay. For so long we were told it was not okay, and for so long we were told that we had to follow these rules, and if we don't follow these specific set of rules, for sometimes we don't even know the reason, then it wouldn't go how we were supposed to go, and we would have just dropped and go hell. But no, check yourself. Why are you doing these things? Are you doing these things because you're super convinced you have spoken to God, and you're at a place now where you're sure that this is what you need to do for your spiritual life? And I think that's very important, because just doing things for doing things' sake, I don't see that furthering your spiritual growth. Do you? And the next question I want you to ask yourself is, what does my relationship with God look like? And it's important you ask yourself this, because you don't want your relationship to be mirroring your friend's relationship with God, a YouTuber's relationship with God, your parents' relationship with God, your partner's relationship with God. You're not in a 3-way. Rather, you're in a one-on-one. So what does that look like? And when you kind of take a step back and you kind of decide what that looks like, then you'll see, okay, so it looks like this right now, and this is where I need work. For example, I know that when I did my audit, I was like, okay, so my spiritual life with God looks like this. I talk to Him in the mornings, and we have a little discussion, and we meet once a week, and we do have this chit chat that we have. I go to Him for everything and whatever. But then I realized that there is a part missing, because when it came to work, I was kind of trying to do a lot of things by myself. Sometimes we just don't freely unload, we don't freely give it over to God, and I realized that was lacking. So I was like, okay, that's lacking. So because that's lacking with my relationship with God, I need to improve it. So I wrote it down. I was like, I need to make this improvement. So what does your relationship with God look like right now? How much time are you spending with Him? What are you talking to Him about? What are you not talking to Him about? What are you not talking to Him about that you should be talking to Him about? That type of thing. So you do a little check, and you see where you are. Next question. How much effort have I been putting into cultivating the fruit of the Spirit? And the fruit of the Spirit is how we take on and display the character of Jesus. Every day we should be trying to get a little piece of the fruit, and doing an audit to see where you are helps you to be able to move on, like everything else. So let's say, for example, you've been cultivating patience for a long time. After 2-3 months, you are good with patience. You're really good with patience. The enemy wants you to continue to try to cultivate patience, because the enemy wants to distract you from the fact that you haven't moved on to try to cultivate self-control. And the enemy just wants a loophole to enter. He just wants to see one weak part of your life to say, boom! Was that frightening? He just wants to see a little hole so that he can sneak in and take it over. Just a little hole. Look at the fruit of the Spirit, and look on the aspects of the fruit of the Spirit that you have been cultivating. Move on. As you move on, it's basically adding. It's not dismissing the one that you left behind, right? So you continue to work on the patience, but because you would have mastered some skills, you kind of know what to do. Your guard is high. You can take your time and put your little battle tactics around, but then you take on self-control, and step by step you get yourself there. Alright, now to the other question. What is my ministry? How do I serve? And no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, because I know the excuses are coming. Oh, I'm shy. Oh, I don't have the time. Oh, work. Oh, school. Oh, the kids. Oh, the husband. I don't want to hear it. Because the Gospel Commission tells us that ministry is a part of our role as Christians. However, at different stages of life, this ministry will look differently. And I've always said it, and I'll continue to say, if the way you serve God and spread His love and His light is by showing up in a church building every day to turn on the lights, you do that in the best way you know how, right? But how's your ministry going? How are you at work? Are you smiling? Are you saying, how are you today? Are you sharing a Bible verse on your WhatsApp? What are you doing? What are you doing to share the gospel? In your little corner of the world, in your little corner of the internet, what are you doing? And then as a part of this audit, you can say, okay, I haven't been doing much, or I have been doing this but I slacked off. And the truth is, guys, that when you think about ministry, I know a lot of people think about talking like this, preaching, whatever. Your unique ministry doesn't have to be speaking. Your unique ministry can be encouraging somebody. Your unique ministry can be cooking a meal. Your unique ministry can be going out and sharing something extra that you have. Your unique ministry can be helping somebody with homework. Your unique ministry can be being a good neighbor. Like, for example, my neighbor, Miss Francis, she makes the best food things. She just loves to cook, and she's very good at it. So anywhere there's any cooking going on, she offers her service. She doesn't charge for it sometimes even if she charges for it, she'll say, I'm not going to pressure you, but that is her unique ministry. People at church who are older and can't provide for themselves, sometimes she'll go and give them a warm meal. That is her unique ministry. So what is your unique ministry? What are you doing to share the gospel? I want you to take this very seriously as you do your spiritual audit, and to see where you are so that you can know what you need to do to move forward. No matter how young you are, no matter where you are, there's something that you can do. It doesn't have to be big, but it has to be able to enable the gospel. This is a big one. What is your motive? What is your motive for wanting to grow spiritually? Is it because you want to come on Instagram and Twitter, come tweet? Is it because you want to look good? Is it because you want that guy to notice you? Is it because you want to be able to fit in a group of friends? Or is it because you're getting to know God, you have experienced Him for yourself, you genuinely want to grow in His favor, grow in His grace, you want to emulate His character, you want to share His love with the world? Is it because of that? Or is it because you want to fit in? Is it because you want to catch the guy? Is it because you want the girl's attention? So your motive is very important, and I'm not telling a lie, sometimes your motive gets skewed, and honestly your motives can get skewed, because I've had times when I've maybe been more spiritual than other times, so that a certain somebody could see me. Mark you, he did see me, but he also kind of ignored me. Yeah, long story. I think we covered it in our story. I'm not sure if we did. But if you want to hear a little bit of our story, you can go ahead and watch that video. It's called Our Story. But before we move to the next one, we have a new feature. So this new feature is called Tribe Time, where you have sent in some anonymous messages to my DMs, and then we all answer them together. So here's what's up. So I want you to give this person advice based on this question. Here goes. Hey Zara, there's a young lady who I thought was my best friend who is now getting married, and I got an invitation to attend. Not as a part of the bridal team nor her maid of honor, which I thought would have been the case. She made mention that I'm not her best friend anymore, and she thought I knew. I'm truly hurt because we've been through a lot together and thought we had a tight bond. Should I attend or not? I have the urge to attend out of respect, but at the same time I feel broken. I have already answered, so she knows my response, but I would love to hear your opinion so that we can, get a balanced view and just get other opinions, because this question might be something that somebody else is thinking about. And if you have questions that you want to be featured on Tribe Time, go ahead and send it to my DMs. I'll screenshot it, it's anonymous, and we'll talk about it in the next. And I'll give an example. Sometimes you're reading a Bible, and you're reading a Bible from, say you're reading all of, sometimes you're reading a Bible and you're reading all of Corinthians, just for example. And you're reading, but in this season of your life, everything is going on and the noise around you is so loud that method and that practice might not be the best because you're falling asleep, you're so tired from work. However, if you had a podcast with an audiobook with somebody else reading and maybe discussing it with you, and you can maybe talk through your points, or you could journal your points, that might be the best for you in that particular season. But if you're traveling and your journal is heavy, I don't expect you to be journaling on you like writing down. Possibly you might have to grab your phone and start sending text messages to God. So the things that you're using to feed your spiritual life, are they good for you in this season? Food for thought. And then the last question in the audit is my support system a healthy one? People change, people evolve over time. It is good to take stock, to recognize the people that you have around you in your space. Is this a healthy space? Have I been growing from being in this space? Have I been evolving? Is this helping my spiritual life, or is this hurting my spiritual life? It might mean that you might need to do something before you leave, and if you try to do something about it and then there is no growth, then you might need to remove yourself, or it means that you might need to just remove yourself completely. You know, it's really based on a case-to-case basis. You're not going to just get up and leave. It is good to assess if those who you get support from, if your support system is a healthy support system that is helping you to evolve as a Christian. Because honestly, spiritual growth is individual, salvation is individual. At the end of the day, you are the only one. I am the only one who will have to stand up in front of God. We alone. Not you and your boo, not you and your crew. That rhyme. Yeah, boo boo. Oh gosh. But yes, I really hope that these questions will help you as you take stock of your spiritual life and as you audit where you are. I'll continue to audit. I'll go in once every quarter and do it because, you know, life runs in quarters, so why not? If you've reached this far in the video, please share with a friend. Share with a friend. Share on your status, share on your Instagram, share on your Facebook, share in your church group, share in your friends group. Like the video, comment, and remember, if you're not subscribed, already subscribe. See you next time. Bye.